So here we go, guys. Could we get some thumbs up to see that you can hear me? For those of you that don't know me, I'm George. I am the Managing Director of MVO Engineering based in Bristol, UK. And I've been working with Syil since the beginning of 2018. But of course, I knew Syil from way back when I first started my journey in CNC. Started working with Mr. Xu out of China, and of course his various other partners around the world. And so far I think we've placed about 12 machines in the past year in the UK alone. What I particularly like about the way that we work with Mr. Xu is that his team of engineers actually listens and adapts the machines to the requirements of the customer. So I've got huge confidence in the fact that the factory listens to what, in terms of safety, in terms of capabilities, in terms of building the machines. And they're, of course, evolving the machines as we go along. I'm just reading some of your comments. Mic audio could be better. Well, Kenny, you will have to excuse me because this is my first live stream. I'm working off a lav mic. And you might find that I've got my face mask around my neck because I'm expecting a friend to come and assist us, hopefully in the next hour or so. We received the machine today, and you can see from my sweaty, ugly face that it's very hot here. What I would always suggest when you get a machine like this is to either get it delivered by somebody that knows what they're doing, or hire yourself a big forklift. Let me put this on my head now and you'll be able to see what I'm seeing, hopefully. Right, how's that? Let's see. I'll walk a bit further back. The unit that I'm in is actually shared with, well, I mean, this is my mess now that I've got everything in place because I'm waiting for the machine to come. But I'm also sharing the unit with another company. Obviously, I'm too small to be able to afford a big unit just yet. Yes, I've got a drum kit. This is a big rep 3D printer. I've got loads of other 3D printers up there. But I guess you guys don't care about it. Have a look at the machine itself. So it arrived today. Like I said, it is the Siemens machine with a fourth axis. And it arrives nicely packaged. If we've got time in a bit, I will show you a time lapse of how I got the crate off. But in the first instance, let me pull it back so we can have a good walk around. I'm going to mute the microphone now. Hopefully it will, because it's going to be loud. Oh, one point. If you write comments, I'm only going to be able to see them afterwards. I'll get to them as many as I can. Just please be patient. I don't have anybody else looking at the comments as other YouTubers might have. Okay, no comments about my driving skills, please. Much better than I am. Right, so what are we looking at? X7, epoxy granite. It comes with the door tied to the side like this, so we're not going to be having any of those broken hinges anymore, which is very nice because if you can see, it also has a nice scissor thingy bob up there with a linear rail, big fat linear rail on the top. So Syil have really improved the enclosure from the previous version. You can see the lovely zoom ends, absolutely stunning. Typically, the sideways one, which would have been in the old ones, the 808, but the I'm hoping you would have seen that. I don't know. Oh, it's to run the pro. What else do we see? Videos of it personally. They've been very kind to ship me a TTC 200. The TTC 200 allows you to do both length and diameter measurement. It's good to have it if you're confident or you want to be able to use it for lights out machining. I would have been very happy with a 100, just the length, and personally do a measure off and then use tool radius offsets. What you'll also see is that they've tied everything down so that the guards do not get damaged during transit, and that also allows them to strap the table into position. If you don't strap the table into position, in shipping, you might get the table moving around, and that will throw your servos, which is not fun to have to deal with opening it. Flexible hose on here is the washdown hose, and they've really improved the way that they're routing all the piping and all the cabling. So the enclosure is night and day compared to what I've seen from the previous X7 combos. We also have the, let's see if we can, you see that up there, the connector blocks so that we can remove the fourth axis should we not be wanting to use it all the time. Lights, interlock door, which was introduced in the previous enclosure. Again, it's a CE certification requirement. Big fat e-stop, of course, is the same. These doors now require keys to open. Again, this is a security thing. So if you wanted to be able to put something in from the side, you really need to have tools to open it. It's something that requires on all enclosures that are not interlocked. This is a bit sparse. I'm assuming that things will go in here when we need a 16 tool automatic tool changer. So you'd probably have another set of pneumatics up here. You've got your oil pump for the linear ways. You've got your water trap for your pneumatics and also the regulator. This is a switch that tells the machine that you don't have enough power to be, or don't have enough pressure to be able to actuate the fluffies, the automatic tool changer. We get a lot of questions about why is my automatic tool changer freaking out, and it's usually that. The enclosure on the back, this is the electrical cabinet, and this is, I'll be opening in a second, but on the other side, as you can see, we've got another locked door. They've gone to extra lengths to make sure that all of the seals on the back, all of the gaps on the back are nicely sealed. Very professional job. the side. One thing to note is that the machine is not shipped with the coolant reservoir connected. And what you see here is probably a return and another inlet or something. I'll have to ask Chen about that. I'm not quite sure yet. I don't know if you... So yeah, so if there's any water coming out from underneath or any coolant coming out from the back, it should be caught in there. And look at the size of that servo. It's caught my eye, and I really, really appreciate this connector here. This is a three-phase connector that allows you to plug in your coolant pump without having to go into the revision of the enclosure. So it's you just plug it in, lock it in place. The coolant tank and the suds pump are easy to get off the and they go on the side of the machine. Hopefully we'll have some time to put these together. The pump goes on the back, like you've got the very cool connector here, and the return should go in here from one of those points. And then your secondary chip tray goes in here. It's quite economical in terms of coolant. We'll see how it fares with the heat, but it's easier to move around because this is the side compartment for the fluid, and then you've got another like so, which you could think it's a step before an auger, a nice chip auger. I pack up my tools. On the side of the box when I took it out, I had this certificate. I think this is just an inspection certificate to say that they've inspected before they shipped it. But I wouldn't expect anything less from Syil. They're absolutely really good to work with. All right, let's have a look at the enclosure. Do excuse the mess. Like I said, it's yeah. Okay, so you guys hear me okay now? Oh, have I got a lag in my voice, guys? All right, anyway, I'll continue. Well, bear with me. Probably because I'm so far away from the PC, that's why we're getting the voice. This is what the enclosure for the Siemens looks like. Two things I really like about this one. First of all, that it's very nice and clean. You've got Schneider electrical components, which is all fully CE marked, and they are German, as opposed to some other companies where they would use Chint. Chint are Chinese. We asked them for the CE certificate. They never sent it. The second one is that we've got an interlocked, a new interlocked disconnector. So basically, if you have got the door open on the back, this will not fire up. So you need to have it closed for it to fire up. Not particularly good for troubleshooting, but there are ways around that, which I'm not going to go into right now. We've got our drivers on the top. One of them is going to but all of the cables are nicely marked up, so you can see the nice big fat cables for your a three-phase. Yes, this is a three-phase machine. getting it off the pallet. Because you can't see much. So I'm going to wait for our friend Rob to show up before I get into that. Hopefully he's not lost trying to make his way here. There you go. Yeah, slightly embarrassing, isn't it? Yeah. I had a spot of trouble earlier with this one. No, that's not going to go. Let's try. Right. Okay. We'll get round to fixing it. But they do give you two keys because the key doesn't come out unless you're fully locked. So we've got our name tag on there. You'll see the tag that we 380 volts is the minimum. Most of or the electrics will be running off a 418 or 420, or even 415, whatever it is. Now, I'm going to, while we wait for Rob, hopefully he's not too far away, and I'll get some of the questions. No, there's a massive lag. Should I make another walk around Cape Cod? All right, and complaints you can make to the other YouTubers. This one is my first live stream. I did all the pre-work, but I'm no pro. The other thing that might be happening is I might be listening to the wrong audio stream. Yeah, line of sight. Thank you. Right. If you'll excuse me, gentlemen, I'm going to have a sip of water. I'm one of these guys that sweats a lot, unfortunately, when I'm operating machinery and walking things around and stuff. So Rob seems to be leaving in 10 minutes, so he's not too far away. Thanks, Kenny. And, right, so the way that you have to remove the machine from the pallet is somewhere where you need to plan it. We'll get to it once I've caught my breath. I'm really sweating right now, but you need to use a forklift or have somebody else do it for you. It's not something that I would recommend a home user do if they don't have access to a forklift. You need to go underneath the machine and lift it off the bolts that are holding it to the stillage, which is the metal pallet underneath. And for this, you need to go in with the forks sideways, and you also need to go in and lift quite a fair bit. So it's a two-person operation, if not a three-person operation. And that is the drawback of going with a machine that's fully built and weighs nearly 2 tons. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get that to show you that. But let me see if I can stream the time lapse that I took of the uncrating. Or maybe not. Let's see. Bear with me. If you have questions, please put them in the comments. Without a forklift, but for yes, okay. So Cape Cod, was this the original, the previous version? Yes, Eric, definitely. If you've got the ability to get somebody with a forklift, then definitely. Correct, very, very correct. It's one of the reasons why I'm sweating is because this is the first time I am operating a forklift doing this machine. The previous ones you had a little bit of leeway because you were able to get underneath the casting once you'd removed the coolant tank. But it's, yeah, very sure, very slow. Let's see if this will work. Might go a bit dark. There we go. Stop. Back, let's transition back to. Oh, we've lost everything. Have we lost it? No, we haven't. Bear with me. I'm trying to use this OBS thing. I've never used it in Anger before. And for some reason, that wasn't the whole video. Yeah, I don't want to keep you guys hanging for too long. But let me see. You can go from the back. The thing is, because sorry, this is in response to Eric's question. You have to go in from the corner of the machine, because the base of the epoxy granite machine is a T shape. You need to go in with one fork diagonally, and also when you come to the final stages, so you've lifted it off and you've placed it on the floor, you've moved away from the stillage, you can move it around using a pallet truck, but you need to go in again with the forks of the pallet truck on either side of one of the feet. I'll see if I can get a photograph that Mr. Chen sent. Upload that. I really wanted to be able to show you the time lapse, but I'm a bit struggling here. Again, like I said, I'm not as proficient as some of you on the thing. Yeah, show, sorry, which one do you want me to show? The base. Right, so let's have a look and see if we can... All right, so on the Facebook group, I'm going to upload a Word document, if I haven't done already, that explains, and it's the official instructions from the factory on how to remove everything from the pallet. So you're not going to be alone in that sense. And like I said, it is yeah, the base, okay. It is a scary one. So let's share this one to. All right, so I'll go and get some. I'll go and show you the base. Let's see if we can get you. Whoop. And since we need to be on line of sight with the microphone, let's see if I rotate it like so, if you get all of the voice. Okay, so what's going on? You see, the base is what I was telling you is it's a T shape. You've got a solid block of epoxy granite, except for the little foot on the back. The foot on the back is to allow you to. Your fork should be through the back onto here, and it's all black. So you're putting your heaviest portion of the machine is let's see there. So the first operation to do on this one is to unscrew these nuts here, let this bolt, the stud, go all the way through, and then we're able to lift the machine off the feet, off the leveling feet. These threads, sometimes you receive machines and they haven't got the threads greased, which is a real pain. Excuse my French. But once it's lifted, and then using a pallet truck, because it's quite interesting. The forks that we've got on this pallet truck, on this forklift, are 1 meter 80 long, and you can see they go all the way through. So from side to side, the machine is very, very compact. Yeah. As you got the front, 3 feet to level it. Because it's heavy on the back, it's pretty stable. And of course, 2 tons on 3 feet is not going to go anywhere. The center of gravity also with the bed moving around is also pretty central, because what they've done is they've changed the way that the bed sits. You've got the motor underneath it, so you don't have to account for motor space on that side. All right. Gentlemen, if you look, go into a little bit of an intermission and get my breath back and also get some water. Keep your comments coming, and I'll get to them in a short while. Now we have sound. Thanks. Yeah, exactly. Kenny, you got me right there. Let's see if we can get that LED light out of the way. Let me see if I can get a better angle. Right. Yeah, so what I was saying was 3 points of contact will allow you to get the perfect plane. With the 4 points that we had in the old X7, you were able to get let's say, one of the diagonals, because to level it, you put a spirit level on the diagonals of the bed. And that's the quickest way. So you go front left to rear right, and you'd level that. And then you'd come along and then you put the other diagonal and you go front right to rear left. And what you find is that once you start tweaking the one diagonal, the other diagonal goes off. Yes, you guys are amazing. So the old X7 was really stiff. I mean, it was fully cast, and it was very difficult to get all 4 feet touching without the concrete underneath or the floor underneath the machine collapsing a little bit to be able to take up the variation or the weight distribution. Now, I've seen this in a number of installations that I did that, pretty much gave up on the 4th foot. You just tighten it by hand to make sure that it's stable and the machine is good. And then about a week later, you come along and you tell the customer, put your spirit level back on the bed and see where you are. With a 3 point, you get the 3 points because you got the 3-point plane. But what I was saying before I realized that my mic was off is that I would have liked to have another 2 feet on either side of the front one when we're going into an industrial environment where you're going to have people moving the forklifts around. This is definitely something that we have discussed with the team, and they've implemented this in the larger machines. So the T series and the V series now that are coming out with epoxy granite, I mean, those machines, I don't know if I ever sell one in the UK. I'm hoping to, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them in person, but those ones have got the 5 points, and I mean, it's night and day. You say that it'll flex over time. Within reason, yes, it will settle, but it's not something. I mean, we don't typically consider cast iron as a material that creeps. Lead, for instance, or plastics, yeah, they will creep, but cast iron, in my experience, not necessarily. They do say that it shifts over time. The Bessel point math on the casting. Bessel point? I'm sure they have. But are you talking about the previous version or the epoxy granite version, Kenny? There's going to be a lot of silence because there's always going to be a lag. I've tried to minimize it, or at least compensate for it in the streaming software, but epoxy granite, huh? Okay. Okay. The company that is subcontracted to do the epoxy granite casting is actually quite proficient in what they do. So they will produce castings for CMMs, and they're too close to the edge for that, for the Bessel point, possibly. Right, okay. Oh, I won't lie, I don't know what the Bessel point is, but let's have a look. Let's have a look at what the Bessel point is, and we'll share that with the rest of the class. Bessel point. Ah, right, okay, so the maximum gravity, airy point, Bessel point. There's a Wikipedia thing. Right, okay, so basically you can self-support it on the 2/3 on it. In terms of FEA, I'll need to get back to you on whether they've done what they've done on FEA. Should say mostly. Oh, okay, on the book, yeah. They've done the FEAs. Like I said, the casting has not just been done by some random engineer. It's done by somebody that knows what they're talking about and how to create the machines. And Mr. Shu has got two engineers that I've got really great respect for, both Chen and also the second gentleman whose name escapes me at the moment. Let me see if we can find his English name. Who might be Feng, can't remember. Where is the technical? No, it's Cell technical group. There we go. You guys keep the conversation going, yeah? If I'm going to go silent a little bit, it's because I'm trying to do many things at the same time, keep you all entertained. Another fun fact is that we also have a celebrity, or thereabouts, a very well-known maker that's just received. We're going to be receiving their X5 combo, a little sort of hobby sort of machine, but very, very capable. And I've got the greatest respect for the X5 combo. And that is Naomi Wu. She's on YouTube. Hopefully we will get some good videos from her. I know her from the 3D printing world and the Arduino world, but let's see. Mr. Shu was quite happy that we're working with her, and obviously she's got like 1 million subscribers, so we might start seeing a lot more Syil content on the YouTubes and all the Twitches and whatnot that she frequents. Oof. I'm really sorry, guys. I cannot find the other gentleman's name on my WeChat. If anybody has it, could you please drop it into the chat? Now, I've been babbling on, but how bad is the lag, so that I know for next time? The voice to video lag. Yes, it's Mr. Xuan. Mr. Xuan, so that's X-U-A-N. I'm going to put it in the comments as well. Mr. Xuan. Oh, yeah. While we wait for Rob, should I show you around the rest of the shop, the rest of the workshop. See what other crap I've got accumulated in here. Eric, kung fu movie, right? I am your father. Okay, right, let's right, so let's have a look, see. Now, Envio stand in Greek, because I'm Greek if you haven't realized that from my last name, Konstantinidis. It actually stands for something that is life, because it started, because working for an oil field company like I was doing, it was no life, and I needed something that would give me a boost, something different. And I was working Envio Engineering as a consultancy, actually, with helping small companies with their CNC problems, you know, giving them G codes or coming along and fixing their Mach 3 issues. And then my brother did a PhD in additive manufacturing, and he said, well, you've got the limited company, why don't you start selling 3D printers? And we did, and for a very long time, I was really depressed because 3D printers were shockingly bad. But over the years, they've gotten a lot better, and I do have my own brands of filaments that are what we call chroma. I'll show you. That's the little mascot there. He's something that I designed in Fusion, actually, with the sculpting tools in Fusion. These LED lights are a pain. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, this is the chroma mascot, and the reason he's like that is because we had a graphic designer create this fella, and it's you know, the chameleon, the chroma meaning colors, very well. I don't sell many filaments because it's just saturated by all the imports, and this is a space that I picked up last year, and slowly as we started gaining traction and a lot more people buying from us, things like the Big Rep 3D printer, which is a cubic meter 3D printer. We sell these to foundries, we sell these to people that are doing events and exhibitions, and they're very expensive. So as I've been selling, you know, I've been buying more kit, and I know that one thing people have always been asking is, you don't want to be buying a pig in the sack. And I don't feel comfortable selling your pig in the sack. So I've been trying to get all the equipment that I resell on the shelves here, slowly. So we've got the Big Rep, that one I own outright. The Syil X7 that is down there, I also own outright. We've got the drum kit, yes. This is something that I picked up during the COVID. At home, I've got an electric one. Here, there. At home, we've got an electric drum kit, but in the unit, I'm able to go wild, so heavy metal all the way. This guy here, I'm looking forward to using, because it's silent or near silent vane compressor. I'm not going to fire it up yet. I have fired it up. It's 60 decibels. So if we compare that to what Aaron was running at in his shop, you know, 50, it's sort of ambient. It's something you can use for a little while without having to wear it all the time. In here, we've got other bits, projects. This is a dryer, actually. For those of you in the 3D printing world, you might know that some filaments require a lot of drying before they go ahead and before you print them, because they lose their properties with humidity. So you dry them. For instance, nylon is one of them. But this is a nice box of goodies. These bits here are for CNC conversion kits, and they are for the hobby, you know, the Harbor Freight type milling machines for you guys in the States, or the Warcos or the Optimums in Europe, and components all manufactured in the Orient. But now I have a milling machine, so I can finish things like this. My previous milling machine was something that was the casting that Novacon in the States used. And it had a GSK controller there. And since going with a GSK controller, you know, fully servo motor machine with a controller that pretty much is a clone of the FANUC, I thought, why the hell was I wasting my time with Mach 3? I mean, yes, it's got its uses. If you cannot afford a full-blown controller, then fair enough. Mach 3 is one of the ways you can go. There are other ways, UCCNC, or the Centroid Acorns, or Linux. Linux, of course, has the following because of our competitors, Tormach. And there's a lot of skins that can go backwards and forwards, but you do need to be clued up on Linux, from what I remember. It's been so long since I've used anything PC-based that memory does vanish on that one. Downloaded them in Linux CNC back in 2004, 5, you know, back in those days when I was still a student, in fact. So it was 2007 when I started actually buying proper machinery. But anyway, I digress. The Novacon controller, the Novacon casting, what happened with that was, in order to get money back into the company, I started stripping the assets that I knew that I wasn't going to have. So I wanted to be able to self-fund myself for at least a year. And I sold my my personal machine to the Game of Thrones guys, actually, and that's where I got. If you see me, you probably see me on Facebook with this cap. It says "Beyond the Wall, Belfast, Iceland," and the guy that bought it was actually the workshop manager for Fire and Ice Productions, which are the guys that do the visual effects. It was a step and direction controller, which meant that you could use whatever servos you wanted on there. It had limit switches. Where Syil is going now is moving away from that, and they're going towards the absolute. So you switch the machine on, the machine knows exactly where he is every time. You don't need to home the machine, which was a constant thing that, you know, in Mach 3 you could say, this is my home. I don't care where you are, this is my home. And it would work, but using an industrial controller forces you to use the machine properly. And that's when you start getting the most benefit out of it. Yeah. Okay. Whoa, sorry, I lost that one. So, yes, so the MG that you saw is the other guys that are renting the space. They have most of the space because they are a lawn treatment company. So they've got all these bloody great big lawn tending machines, and they come around every so often to your house and they spray and stuff. They're called Green Thumb in the UK. They're a franchise, but I know that these guys are very, very busy, and they seem to be good. And my neighbors are very decent people. They were actually helping me before we went live to cut up the crate with a chainsaw. So I mean, I couldn't have asked for better neighbors or leaseholders. Now I'm just looking at the comments. Yes, Cape Cod, you seem to be you've got your finger in many pies, it seems. Yeah, I mean, Kenny, I'm totally with you on that one. Never go back to a PC-based if you can avoid it. There is a time and a place for it, and like I said, if you've got a budget, there's no smooth stepper in or anything. Which brings me to the question by Cape Cod CNC about the Duet Wi-Fi. The Duet Wi-Fi is, you could consider it a standalone controller, but it is very biased towards 3D printing. And one of the biggest differences is that 3D printing doesn't need to be as real time as CNC, like cutting. Because okay, what's the worst that can happen? You break a hot end, no problem. The danger comes, of course, when you're dealing with hot plastics, but they've got thermal runaways, they've got fuses in them to stop the power, and they're tending to become a little bit like more intrinsically safe than they were. The Duet Wi-Fi guys, they're very good engineers. I mean, when it comes to electronics, the stuff that they're putting into their third version is proper, like EtherCAT type stuff, bus type stuff. It's protocols that you would expect out of automation equipment. And yeah, it's they're moving towards, well, Ooze Nest are a classic example of a, let's say, very low budget machine CNC for the market of woodworkers that are just getting into it. There's full extrusions. They're using a DC, like what is it? Not even a 500 watt DC motor as a standard spindle. They're adding water cooling spindles. It's get your feet wet, and the guys are very good. Their service is brilliant. A customer of mine, and because they resell Bontic extruders for me. They're very decent guys. They're young kids. They're always looking to improve their machines. They've got a work ethic that is really good, especially now with the downturn. They've tried to keep their things going, but they're using the Wi-Fi, the Duet Wi-Fi board, and setting it up. It's not as easy as Mach 3. So, for instance, in Mach 3, you would go to your screen, you would select all your ports and pins and whatever. The Duet, although it's got its own graphical user interface, it's got a little touch screen and all that, you still need to go into code. So you need to know how to export or at least read an XML file. When I was designing my own 3D printer, it was my go-to board. But would I use it on a CNC? No. I would definitely go down to Mach 3. It's something I know. I mean, I'm not even talking about Mach 4. Bought Mach 4 when it first came out. Never used it. So all my machines are like, yeah, they were Mach 3, and that was due to necessity. But after that, once we start going into professional type stuff, I mean, it's night and day. Having, I mean, the Siemens, it just blows my mind when how cool it is. You press feed hold, you jog your cutter away from the work. You can switch off the spindle, switch off the coolant, take your measurements, make sure that you're running fine, switch your coolant back on, switch your spindle back on, press, run again. It goes to the last known position and continues running. The number of times I've used that on my lathe is unbelievable. And especially when you're learning, having the ability to just say feed hold, and the machine just stops dead in its track. It doesn't finish the line like Mach 3 does. It stops dead in its track because it's already calculated where it needs to be on the next side. And yeah, it's like beautiful. So the reason why I went with the Siemens on mine is obviously because it's the most premium controller that we can get. We've got the support behind it, but also because I know that there's going to be a lot of people in Europe and Germany, potentially in the UK, that are going to be going down the route of the Siemens. Up until the point where there are enough Syil 22 MAs in the wild. Yes, they are based off a Syntec, the top-notch Syntec, and it should be pretty much FANUC, because all of the Eastern manufacturers will clone FANUC, as it's well known. But you know, you want to be able to go into Fusion 360 and say, or whatever your CAM package is, and say, look, I've got that exact controller. Yeah, I totally understand that, and we're trying to get as much confidence also in the group of resellers of Syil and also in the customer base. It's just one of those things that will take some time. I have asked for a unit, like a training unit, like Haas sends out a box with training software on there. But you can do pretty much anything that you could do on a Haas controller, but without the machine attached. There is a PC program for that, but without porting in all the customizations that you have on your actual controller, it's very Spartan, and I gave up trying to use it. Yeah. So, you guys have gone off on a tangent. Is there 2 3D printers with it? Yeah. Trying to get to 22 for my X7. Cape Cod, do you have a Syil at the moment, or is this for a retrofit? Let me clean this one, as I think I've got some greasy fingers on here. That's better. Christ, if my mother saw me with a red face like this in public, and of course I'm shaven, huh? But it's coronavirus, so everything is sort of like taken a, and most of you guys have probably spent all of these last 3 months in your pajamas anyway. No, I did. Yeah, I'm just waiting for him to turn up. I hope he's not too far away. Is that him? Is that you? Right, he's arrived. Okay. Oh, okay. Guys, I'm going to apologize again for the sound. It might get worse because I'm one of these people who believe in protecting my fellow man or woman or child, and I'm going to put on my face mask. While I've been alone, no problem, but now we've got Rob here. I've asked him to wear a mask as well. So let's get that on. Hello, how are you doing? Yeah, well, it's like I said, this is Rob. Hello, say hello, Rob. Everybody can see you here. Do you want a microphone? Okay, so he wants to be on the silent side. I've been good. I've been good. Busy, but good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's go and have a look at it again. I've shown the boys on online about it. Let me see if my level. Yeah, you can hear me. Rob is actually looking at that machine. Fourth axis with Siemens controller. It's dinky, isn't it? You remember? Put it up. Yeah. Because the coolant trays, these 2 coolant trays, actually correct. So they slide up like so. And as I was telling the guys online, that this is, let's say, the basis for putting an auger in there at a later date, because the whole of the front of the machine, actually we didn't show that, did we? The whole of the front of the machine, gap on the front, so you can actually see daylight beneath it. The tray on the bottom,
dropping straight down in
correct, yes, correct.
They might do an auger system.
Are always
You best get me an invoice prepared then, so I can pay my deposit.
well, When you're ready, mate. When you're ready.
Ready.
Oh,
Ready to go.
right. So what I would like you to do
Yep.
is I'd like you to spot me
Yep.
with the forklift. We're going to bring it out into the middle of the workshop.
Yep.
Hopefully you have enough space, and then I'm going to show you instructions in a second. We'll put it on that side out of the way. I just want to show you the instructions for here. Hello, I'm a Green Ninja. The instructions for the installation of it, so you know what we're doing. Where would it be? It would be in OneDrive. Right, so I'll show the guys as well. Not great showing the screen, but effectively what we're going to be doing is we've taken the drip trays away, which is already done. We're going to be removing the nuts from the screws on the feet and lifting the machine up. Right. Well, it's going to be lifted off on its feet first, and then we're going to use the forklift to come in and lift it off the packing frame. You can see where the forks go in over there. Right, so it's very, I would call it dicey. So we need to be pretty correct, communication key, and safe. If it goes south, I want you to be away from everything. So not run, not be in the way, just in case. I mean, you be far away, so that if things do go south, we're all. I mean, it'll go south on the car, or it'll go south on something else, not on you.
No problem.
Okay? Right, so risk assessment. We'll go and do a risk assessment now. We're going to put gloves on as well. Let me get my work gloves somewhere. Okay, cool. If I can find my work gloves, it'd be great. Now, I have to do a risk assessment. You guys might laugh, or OSHAs and whatever you want to call them in the States, but he's on my sort of turf, and I'm responsible for him. I'm responsible for myself. So we'll take it one step at a time. I'm far away from the computer, so I can't see your sarky comments about it. Crack on. I'll come back to you when we're done. Step number one is to
First impression, beautifully built, isn't it?
yes, and actually,
I'm literally first time I've ever seen this machine, and it's spot on.
I'm glad. I'll open the electrical cabinet for you as well. I showed the guys, and I was telling them that, you know, one of the things that I really like about the way that we work the Syil is that they listen. So improvements that.
See the improvements. So, I mean, I've been looking at this for maybe 2 years now.
Yeah.
Difference is complete redesign, really.
Yes, it is from the ground up, and you see the way that they've got bolts on the side. I saw the same thing on a Haas on Tuesday. Or was it on Wednesday? I went up to see a customer of mine with a big rep, and they've got a big Haas. That hold the door together. So basically the door, when you close it, it stays in place because it's got the scissors up there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's
And have a look at the linear rail that the door works on. That here. That there.
that's solid, isn't it?
Yeah. And previously, ball bearings on a round or semi-round rail. And what we were finding is that because it was hanging off of that, sometimes under shipping, the door would come off the bottom hinge. Yeah, exactly. But again, you know, once we've identified issues with weaknesses for shipping, and I'd fixed a couple of them, the guys at the factory were like, okay, let's fix this, let's add some bracing to it. Next time round, no problem. Rob, would you like to come back out so I can get to the... Actually, I shouldn't be doing this. I should be bringing this one into parallel.
Bring it into position.
Yeah.
That bolt up here, so
Yeah, I'll put the
put this nut back in.
yeah, let's do that. You know what we can do with that? It can probably come out. I mean, yeah, just put it in, put it in properly. But out of the way. Over there. Yeah, so we need to keep the last bit's going to was going to go with a pallet truck. Yeah. But we've got it out of the way. I will say, as soon as I get it to here, I'll be happy. Yeah? And then the rest of it, we'll just take it slow.
You're just going to drive it straight forward now on its crate to this position, and then lift it up, take it off its frame, so we can slide the frame out of the way.
Correct. So we've got another fork truck over there.
Yep.
We'll have to be pretty careful. Now, Kenny Duval is telling you, do not let the big heavy thing fall on you, Rob. I don't know if you know him.
I will.
Okay. So I wonder whether it's worth going out and, no, I can't reverse it back in. It's too big. And because they've parked the MG there, I can't swing the forklift around. So we need to get the pallet truck out from under the sacks of top turf there, to be able to remove it from underneath the machine. And then we'll probably have to tilt it on its side up against the wall. Okay, let's do that. Oh. I'm not scared or anything. And just see whether it fits underneath as well. Yeah, that'll be fine. So you'll be able to pull the stills from underneath. Okay. But so what the machine, these bolts need to go through the foot.
Drop all the way out when you lift it up.
Yes, and then you reclaim them, and they hold the cones of the feet in place.
They're reinserted back in.
Yes.
Are they not going to be too long? Because at the moment they're going through the bottom of the 3x3 boxing.
Are they going to be too long?
Not threaded directly to this, and this is just the captive bolt to hold it to the frame.
We'll find out, because the previous one, yeah, you're right.
Side.
No, you're right. No, on the old X7, you reclaimed them.
Okay.
So let's have a...
Looks like now that's...
Yeah, probably.
This is your adjustment on this nut to wind that foot up and down straight into this steel plate.
Yes, but what's holding that in place then? That's what I want to figure out. So typically what they have is like a cone, or let's say a rounded bolt inside on the foot. And let's take it one step at a time, nice and slow. Communication is key. The safest thing to do is to bring it here. Yeah. So, yes, correct. And then we've got plenty of space. Okay. Now, what we did previously was we had somebody sat on that corner there by the MG and guide me through because I can't see shit in front of the swearing. Yeah, that's true. Really noisy. The,
That side or that probably needs to be outside so we've got more stability.
let me have a look, see. So in the instructions, he's saying to use behind the front leg
Yeah.
and the that plate on the back.
You can lift by this plate. It looks strong enough actually because it's all like 10 mil steel.
So you see where the you've got exactly, that's what the lip is there for. So basically, what we need to do is we need to come in to it so that it's partially under the foot and partially under the epoxy.
Yeah. there's a lip here. Look, you actually need to be behind. You need to be off that lip, I would have said. You've either got to be fully or you've got to be partially on the epoxy.
Let's have a look. See.
You have a look underneath there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be teetering on that lip.
Let's see if we can get a. Oh, this is brilliant, actually. I'm glad we've got.
There's a welded plate there.
Let's have a look. See.
You see where this welded plate is? You've either got to be on this plate here or completely past it and on this plate here.
I would say we've
But
got.
not lip in between them. So I would say here. Because you're welded there and you're bolted up above, and if they said they're happy to lift from this point.
Let's have a look at the instructions one more time.
Okay.
Engineers reading the manual, eh? Christ.
What's all that about then?
Exactly.
Installation?
They have. It is really clean in general. Right, so you're saying release that, then come in and lift it. Yeah, he's fully on the plate there.
Yeah, it's there we go. And that's that lip stuff.
Let me,
dropping off.
sorry, can you move your hand so I can zoom in for the guys? Yeah, so you're saying put it there.
Yeah, fully in that plate. Perfect.
All right, should we have a go? All right,
Do the,
hold on to your arseholes.
do the actual
Yeah, they do.
right, we need to adjust them.
Well, we will need to adjust them because they were there for the pallet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably come in again.
Yeah, no, bring that one in and then we can adjust that side.
Ideally, you want to be central to the load. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust them to about 2 foot between them. Of course, I've got a tape measure. If I can find it. Let's get you way over here. Let's see what the delinquents are saying. Everybody left us to our own devices. I thought reading the manual gets you kicked out of the man club. Yeah, totally. You know, one day when the world goes back to normal, we should have a hangout or a general session online and just talk, shoot the wind, and yeah, exactly. Maybe have like virtual beers with each other. Yeah, you carry on. So we need to be just as far as we can close to the foot there. Yeah, you're good there. So what's the distance there?
That is, I want 850.
850 from the outside to outside.
850 from outside to inside. So maximum, let me just go outside to outside. Meter.
Meter.
It's actually a meter.
Where are we at? You need to lift the. Oh, it's lifted. A little bit more.
Yeah, we'll slide that over here. 970.
Place.
Yeah, I'll only lock when they're in a slot.
Yeah. You know, I need to come back home.
I don't think you need to lock them because they're not going to slide. So we need that distance.
Okay. So I need to back out again.
To back out and then line up the centre of this.
Right. So in which case, let's get the nuts out. We can find the spanner. Where did I leave the spanner, Rob?
It was over the side by your socket that you opened up.
Did I put it back, did I? put it back in its place. Would you like? Gotta love Oriental nuts. They're halfway between an 18 and a 19, so I was able to get this one out with an 18.
They haven't had any of that weird imperial sizes, are they?
Let's not start the flame war now. I mean, realistically, can you pass me the 19? I just want to check something. No, that's too small. It's one size I don't have. But let's come in, give it a little bit of a lift. Yeah, so let's give it a bit of a lift, see where we are. So,
You're going to back out and you're going to head for the centre of this with that.
correct. Correct. We can do small adjustments with the side shift. It's got side shift on the forklift. Let's go quiet again. Now, just because you've got the certificate of driving the truck doesn't mean that you're fully confident with it, yeah? I went and got my cert before Christmas, or just after Christmas, one of the two. Just out in January time.
I had mine 30 odd years ago when I worked for an engineering company and I had my forklift truck license.
All right, I'm going quiet, guys. Right, so what were we saying about the bolts, you know, the footsies. Let's have a look. So now,
They must take them, but the thing is,
let's have a look.
it's not come with additional bolts in the packaging, has it?
Let's have a look. I don't think so, because usually we take those out. I think there's one case where I hadn't thought to do it.
If I lift this up,
So this is the little toolbox. We don't have them in there.
what do these look? Because they're just threaded on the bottom.
Yeah, so usually they weld them so that you don't lose them and you reuse them. Let's have a look. If we were to move, okay, so we need to unscrew the.
Look, that's not
Oh bollocks.
obviously correct.
Okay, so we'll have to lower it.
Just freeze stand, no bolt in it at all. As in you put it in position, and as you sink it, you actually sit them onto the foot, and that's it.
Yeah, which means that we have to drop the machine straight onto the pallet truck now.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it down onto its feet. We need to extend the feet. I'm going to drop it down on there so we can at least move the stillage out of the way. Go on. cables everywhere. Fucking hell.
Yeah, go on, man.
Okay. I'm free. Ah. Sorry, Chief. My bad. Okay. I'll get there one day.
Not like we're professionals, is it?
Yeah, this is the first time I'm doing it. I'm only doing it because them lot are voyeurs
We could just stand this up on its edge
and then drift it.
and just drag it out together.
Let's see.
So if we lift, which side do you want to
No fuck way are we lifting that.
Why would we lift it? We've got a box there. Let's do that.
What to? Oh, that way.
Tip it up on its edge,
Yeah.
and we slide it out. I might use some careful straight
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, yeah, well, bugger.
Slide it.
Up against my racking. Okay, so what if, put it up against this for the time being. Should be able to take the weight. No, no. Shall we do the following? No, I'm putting it into the office.
I'll buy that back off you.
That should do it. Because what we're going to do is we're going to move the machine towards the wall so we can slide that out.
So I reckon we could just stand this in.
Paint I'm worried about. I'm sure your missus would have things to say if you did the same thing in the house. All right, so let's see whether we can get underneath here now. There we go.
You're cutting through at an angle there.
That's how we need to be.
Okay.
As long as we're underneath it and we can lift it, we'll be okay. Yeah, good luck making it straight now.
Yeah, I think that's not the easiest way to steer it, is it?
No, it's not, but this is how they... Because we're on both forks, which is good. Should we try it? Let's have a look-see.
We've got enough. That's going to be mighty difficult to manoeuvre like that.
Yeah, but then we're not taking up the weight. I know it's going to be difficult, but let's see. Good luck moving it. I'm still on the other foot. Okay, so move, go away. Okay, so just stand back. Yeah, I see. Move away. Fucking hydraulic.
Tight to the feet, this side, both sides. Almost touching the feet. I think they're going to be good.
I wouldn't count on it. The thing is, we've got too much space. There's a gap on the right-hand side. Because there's a plate where the foot goes. So we need to put some packing underneath that. You reckon? Oh, watch yourself. Yeah. I need to move it anyway. Yeah. You got something? Let's see.
Is that down as low as it'll go?
Yeah. How far in does it go? That's it. Cool. Perfect. So what Syil have done is they've got that, you see the foot is actually got a steel plate so that you can screw through the plate, because obviously epoxy granite's got no strength at all when it comes to threading, and you can't thread through epoxy granite anyway. So they put metal plates where they need to have.
Actually in the casting.
Correct, yes. I don't know about that back page, but we'll find out. Let's see now. Okay, we're up. Okay. We're clear of the feet. We're just clear of the feet. Right, so I'm going to go out and to the side. Gently.
Keep that steering straight.
Okay. Thank you. Whoop.
We bet gets the full. So there and the full truck.
Let's move the. No, we'll put the feet back underneath. Okay. Well, you can. Please use the crowbar. Yeah. Are we on the feet? Yeah, we are.
You've done the front one, haven't you?
Yeah.
Done these two.
The front one's very high. No, I've got. Move this fucker. Yeah, because there's a steel plate underneath it.
What? Go back and catch the pallet truck.
Everything. Makes sense. Yeah. Right.
So you're happy now we move it down to the front of the MG,
Yes.
and we can get the tray, get it past them. I wonder if that strip of wood is actually creating that
Is.
tip. Straighten up, straighten up, straighten up more. Try not to steer too sharp, but capsize its pallet first.
Yeah.
Okay, gently bring the tiller towards me now. That's it. Start swinging in slowly now. That's round towards me. That's it.
Right. I've got him. There should be enough space. I remember we have to go all the way back as well now.
Yeah. That's easier. Good pulling. Right, leave in there.
Okay. He's safe, yeah.
Put it back on the feet.
Yes. It's hydraulics. You said it yourself. The crowbar's on the. It's there. It's there. It's there. Okay.
Okay, we're good.
Give me.
So it's going to tilt this side again, okay?
Mhm. The ratchet. Cool. Make our life a bit easier. Yeah.
Is that the full weight of the machine?
Yep.
So you can adjust it on its full weight.
Yeah, yeah, of course. All right. Yeah, well, I'm going to get the local collector to come and pick it up. He's not going to get much for it, but better than nothing. he's got some tape here. Yeah. Yeah. You reckon we should pull it? I think we'll, because we'll have to pull it and then push it in. But then how are we going to swivel it around? Okay, yeah, we'll need to pull it. Pull it because
Can we front load? Because it's a slightly final position and it goes straight in under.
but the thing is, it's really weighted on the back. Is it? And we're going on the epoxy. The, no, it's off the wheels. Come and have a, look where the wheels are. So that doesn't work.
What a shame those feet aren't a hair wider.
Yes. Yeah, that would. Anyway, maybe the guys can too. So we'll have to go backwards because I want to put it by the stairs.
Yeah.
So it's better to go like this, otherwise we won't be able to get the pallet truck. Yes, please. No, we need to put the stripper wood because there's a gap between the. That's the one. Rob.
Yeah.
Just ratchet. There you go. Okay. All right. Get the feet out of the way first. Yeah, I'm not off. Yeah, I know. I still think we need to be going through diagonally.
It came down in like that, no problem.
Yeah, it's just humour me, yeah? Are we there? We're not,
You're off. The thing is
Yeah.
now you're right off over the back.
um, I mean, part of this is so we learn how to do it, right?
Me now, that makes it really awkward to steer and maneuver.
Yeah, so that's not going to go, is it? That's going to be...
No, I think we're fine as we are because we brought it all the way down this way. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
We just, if I'm pushing, taking nice and steady, where we raise it up a bit higher on the feet.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's see. Where am I stuck? I'm on the foot, yeah. We should be coming that way. Because then you've got the thing is, if I come in that way, let's try it. I mean, what's correct? All the guys are probably saying, amateurs. Yeah, well, not a YouTuber, but thank you for sticking with us. Is my my wheel out from the front?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe this is it, Rob. I'll come back a bit.
I'll tell you what, hang on. Can you just steer to me a touch? That's much better.
Good. Now is the wood all the way through? Okay. Yeah.
Should we be under this lip?
We've got yeah, exactly. Nothing to be sorry about. That's more stable. Yeah. That is more stable. Because all the weight's between the forks now. Right. So yes, it's cumbersome. Stop, 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 zip, zip, zip. Okay. Slightly uphill here. Yeah, got you. You're right. Right. Move away. If it goes on the screw, so be it. If it goes on the screw, so be it. fine. That's fine. The floor is really all over the shop. Let's move my crap out of the way. To put like one of all the way across underneath. It's not tall enough. Right, let's move this crap out of the way. Food for thought for the future is probably, for anybody thinking of doing this, is to probably get somebody to do it for them. That way they will have all the equipment. So you can put it, I mean, if we had skates, no problem. But it's doable also like this. No, it's not the back against there, it's the side. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Whoa, yuppa. That's okay. All right, a little bit more. Stop, 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 stop. All right, come towards me. Stop there. Don't stand between yourself and anything, please. No, you just stay back. Okay. Now forward. Have you got the feetsies? You get the feetsies? The feet. Come on. Come on. That's it. Nice and steady. Yes, we should be able to do this. This is where you say it's cumbersome. Let's see what we can do about that. But it's just minor maneuvers then. Yeah. Right, so put the feet underneath. Let's take a break. Yep. Get the front 2 feet on. Okay. And we need to move this guy out of the way. I think we should. Don't ask me why I didn't pack it all away before you came. Yeah, because then once we're down, we can go straight in. Okay. Dunk. And we're on ready. Good. So let's get this shit out of the way. All right. See a lot of smiley faces there. Yes, you are being perfect quarterbacks. Honestly, I'm just glad that you guys are having fun. So we need to bring it so that's about this much from this, so about 600 millimeters. 2 foot. Everything's 2 foot. Look into my eyes, look into my eyes. 1, 2, 3, you're under. Okay. Thank you, Rob. Okay, so if we line it up, where are we?
We need to do 3 or 4 or 5 turns yet.
A few tacks. Okay, stop there. Well, if we get skates for you. We'll definitely get skates for you. Okay. Okay, so we need about,
Kick it some more. Keep now the way you're going.
whoop. Okay, stop there. Because that's a fire escape. Because that's a fire escape. I need to come further back so that I've got space between the big rep and this. So one more time. One more little one. Okay, there we go. We're good. Stop there. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Gap here. Back to go around just a hair. Are you happy with that? Do the other one. That's it.
Stop.
That's it. You can square her up.
Oh, we're okay. I need some space on that side. So we're good. Rob, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Let's get the fit done.
And then I can call this live stream. Call this live stream done. Because I need to talk to the lady. She's probably worried sick as well. That's perfect. Yeah.
Shake hands because we've got gloves on.
Yes, we can. But now we have to take them off. Ladies and gentlemen, he is seated. Right. And there was much rejoicing. Team, we've been on the live for 2.5 hours. I hope you have enjoyed yourselves. Would you like me to stick around and answer questions? Because it's, you know, this evening is for you guys. Eric, yeah, the compressor will fire it up as well for you. I'm not going to get the live guys to hear it, because that's all you need. You don't need bigger than that.
My tank at home is like this round and that long.
Yeah, but
Bloody noisy pump.
okay, yeah, that's the problem. Right, so I'm going to stick around for a little bit, guys, just for the live chat. For those of you that stuck around since the beginning, well, wow, thank you so much. I'm not sure if this is going to be the last one of these live streaming. So you might have to live with me a little bit during the evenings, because I've got free reign now in this machine shop. So there are a number of that I would like to bring out. First of all, I need to face off those aluminium extrusions like I showed you earlier for the CNC conversions. Then there's another little product that I'd like to bring to Europe. Seems to be doing very well in the US and abroad. It's just a matter of finding stock for it, material stock, so I don't have to be grinding and stuff. And yes, I mean, you guys have kept me entertained throughout. Would you have mask live from powering up the machine? Would you make live from powering up the machine? Rafalos, yes. I don't know if I'm going to make a live one, but what I'll do is I'll show you how it's connected up. It is a three-phase machine, so the first stage is to ensure that you've got the three-phase supply, and after that it's getting the cables in. There's only 4 cables that you need to connect, because all of it is sort of digital inside. It doesn't need the neutral phase, and don't ship it with a neutral phase because most of it's balanced. And we'll show that at a different time. Sadly, the guys that I was going to go and buy the 3-phase plug from didn't have it in stock. So yeah, Screwfix didn't have it in stock, and they're the only people that do. No, I think it's delivery anyway. You see Nikos Konstantinidis down there? Yeah, he's my little brother. Hello, Nikos. Hello, Nikos. Yeah, we're all good. Thank you very much, guys, for joining. Any questions before we call it today? Kenny, thank you very much for all your input. You've been very talkative today, and I really appreciate that. You have, I mean, the bezel thing, I didn't realize it was called the bezel points, but thanks for that. Ultimately, when you come to do this on your own, if you're going to do this on your own, 2 things that spring to mind. One of them is make sure that you either get the machine lifted off the pallet somewhere else, somewhere, let's say, like a rigger's yard or a lifting company's yard. It'll make life a lot easier if you do not have certification for, or you don't have experience with a forklift. I mean, okay, I'm not an expert, a forklift driver. I did my certification. I used it a little before we worked on it today. We worked with it today, but that's about it. Would I do it again? If push comes to shove, yes. But I wouldn't do it out of, let's say, trying to skimp on money. I mean, realistically, it cost me about £1,000, including the insurance, to get that forklift brought here. I could have had the machine sent out to a high-ab company that's just down the road. They would have brought the machine straight off the pallet into my yard. And it's, yeah, if I was going to do it again, I would get a rigger or some professional to do it. The person that we can speak to that's got experience with that is Nick Holm, because he got somebody in Sheffield to receive the machine, and then he got them to high-ab it into his garage. So if you've got, let's say, small spaces, try and make sure that the floor is as even as possible, so that then a rigger can come in with machine skates. We could have put one machine skate on the front, where the feet are. Once you lift it off the pallet, you put one machine skate on the front, two on the back. You put it in, then you put the pallet truck on behind it, remove the skates, put the feet on the back, and come and do the same thing on the front. So I think that would have been the safer bet, and then that you'd be able to go in with the actual feet of the machine on skates, as opposed to trying to go in with a pallet truck. It's something that I've been meaning to buy, because as business improves and progresses, I think the skates will be good. Correct, of the seating, yeah. The thing is, okay, I've got the insurances and everything to be able to install it, so I'm insured to install it. Would I want to do it? Well, not really. I will do it for you guys if you're in the UK, and yeah, we're good friends and all that. I'll come and help you. But if I come up to help you, Rob, we're getting skates. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So Rob is going to be putting the machine pretty much like that, up against his house wall on that side, on the machine's right side. And the reason we wanted to put it on the right side anyway is because now we can move this guy in. Let's get you back in. You'll go there. Oh my. And it will push itself in, don't worry. There you go. So that's how it should sit. Or maybe a bit to the right. Pull it out a little bit this way.
That's perfect. That's parallel with the machine.
So the reason you wanted like this is basically on the front, it's just... Yeah, I'm not sure about that mesh. I think that mesh is a bit too fine.
Just going to let the fluid through and just keep the chips on the top.
Yes, but then it might be full with small chips, especially if you're running small cutters and for a long time. So maybe that's something that you guys can modify on your own, or maybe Syil will be able to make the whole thing.
Maybe a fit-in mesh, different gauges that just slots down and bolts in place.
Well, either that, or you just cut the whole thing out and make the whole thing a mesh. Because ultimately, yeah, you could make two meshes. There is enough space on the back to put an oil skimmer, which is, especially for us that are not going to be using it all the time, an oil skimmer is a necessity. The thing with, I actually found out some very interesting stuff about Blazerly, because I had the rep come and visit. He was saying that the first fill you do, you have to use tap water, because tap water has got bacteria that maintain, let's say, the level, the correct level, or at least the human compatible level of bacteria in there. As soon as you start putting oils in there, where you stop oxygen coming into the mix, you start getting the anaerobic bacteria, which is the bad stuff, and it starts smelling. So what you're saying is, the first fill we do, wash the machine down, make sure that all the grease, the packing grease, and all the oils are out of the system, and then you come in, you make a one fill with tap water. He was very critical of the Bristolian water, actually. He says it's very hard. And then the rest of the time, you just fill it up with distilled water. The fact that we've got a fully enclosed, or at least covered tank, will reduce the evaporation. So that's definitely a good point. But one thing that I just noticed now, and I forgot to mention it previously, is that finally we have a level. And that's something that a lot of us have been shouting about, hasn't it? Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, let's see, what have we got in here? Syil signing off. Kenny, thanks for joining in. Bet, we need to chat again, George. Yes, we do. We will definitely chat. If those of you that don't know, Bet is the chap that makes a very, very sweet, compact, nozzly coolant which adjusts. You get one? Yeah. So I would have liked to be able to import them into Europe. Unfortunately, when we started talking, about a week after we started discussing bringing in to Europe, it's cash flow. So I had to make some payments, and then, you know, it was the cash that I wanted to put into stock, and there's no point in me bringing in just like 2-3 units. If I'm going to be selling it to people in Europe, I mean, it plugs into Siemens, and he's also done the same thing for the LNC controllers, so it'll plug in straight into the Syils, and it makes washing down of the machine so much easier. You can automate it. He's posted a video recently of it washing down the table, washing down the table as the machine does a warm-up. I mean, that's...
I spoke to Charlie Lewis and he said he wouldn't be without it.
Yeah?
So Charlie absolutely loved it.
So Charlie absolutely loves it. Okay. He makes the I don't get my armored device. That is very true. So it's a pity, but tomorrow I have to drive 3 hours up to Blackburn to help another customer who is in desperate need. Eric Boss, well known in the world of making pretty things as well. If you don't follow him on Instagram and you're on Instagram, go and follow him. Eric, please post your handle on the comments and I'll read it out. I can't remember off the top of my head. It might be Eric CNC, but he does some very pretty things. There are a number of people, his neck of the woods, that do so. A number of people in the UK that should be posting on this one. What else have we got? Yeah, so it's been sunny in Bristol. Oh, one more thing to say is that the crate that it comes with, I'm going to be posting a YouTube video of the time lapse, just to show you the way that I went about it. You cut the top of you go with the top of the crate off first, and you be very careful because they are very, very generous with the amount of nails they put through. What we're going to do next with Rob is probably put the spirit level, a cheap torpedo spirit level for the beginning, just one like that. I've got one, a small one as well, but basically we're just going to put that one on to make the basic adjustment, and then in about a week's time I'm going to put the accurate one on. You do it on the top of the table, yeah. Once you've got it on the table, because I mean, realistically, does it matter if the casting is stiff enough? No. But because you're going to have a series of stiffnesses, you've got the casting stiffness, the feet stiffness, the screw stiffness, the floor stiffness, and there are plenty of, exactly. So you try and get the table as level as possible, and everything should fall into place after that. And then I'll have to power it up to be able to lift the head off. But like I said, it's a matter of screws. Yeah, no, it wasn't. The stencil is a bit crap. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm either going to make a... well, you know what? I'll just paint this back up and put vinyl on top. I mean, Syil should be putting vinyl or proper stickers on there. Yeah. But otherwise, this is what it looks like from afar. Yes. Yeah, it's not a touch screen, although it's big enough to be one. And the MPG, do you want to open this one for me, please? Here. So the MPG is, it's nothing, let's say, super duper. And people, when they come onto the website, they tend to want to have the MPG as an optional extra, but what they don't realize is that the one on the website is actually for Mach 3, it's a Chinese Mach 3 pendant, whereas this one, although it's Chinese, it's made to be used with industrial controllers because it's a proper encoder. It's wired, and you'll plug it into here, right? One thing that I always find is that whoever puts these together never screws these screws in. It's, I mean, I think the only time I've ever found those screwed in was once when I installed a machine at the supermarket chain Ocado. And that was just before the lockdown. So I need to go out there and teach them how to use their machine once they open up.
I know a couple of guys on the call who've asked this question.
Oh, yes. That's, yes, it does go down.
Big garage doors.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's, it's slick, isn't it? I mean, it's Battlestar Galactica slick.
Yeah, that's an aluminium glass baseball bat.
Don't think I've talked this much in my life.
Get a dry throat, you need a drink.
Yes, very good. We've got a nice lot in the, so that, if you open it up, that will have the Ethernet cable socket and a second USB socket. But I don't know if these are connected from the factory. I know that they're there. I don't know if they're connected. Your USB and your serial number will be here. So this is where you'll see that.
So if you're bringing in a G code, you can just plug it straight in.
Yes, correct. Yeah, so that's the way I would do it. Otherwise, I would program on the machine. On milling machines, I don't program on the machine. On lathes, because you're doing very simple stuff, there are so many inbuilt functions that it doesn't make any sense to program on Fusion, for instance. The other thing is that you've got the copy of 808 on PC, don't you? Yes. Yeah. So what I would do there is I would program on there in the comfort of my own living room, and then just copy that file across and plug it into here. It'd be interesting because, you know, things like facing and stuff like that, there's no point in you coding it by hand if you can just go blum, 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 and it's got 3 points because that's what facing does. So yeah, you'll need to learn a little bit of Siemens, but there you go. You can do it. Come on. There you go. It's in. Yeah, it's it's for Oriental hands. And hopefully, oh, there you go. I click. So it's magnetic, but if you're cutting steel, steel sits to the back. Correct. So that's why they give you. Where's that extra foot? Yeah. So that plate. I mean, it's up to you to place it wherever you want, really, but. And just stick it like that. Always remember to put it on off. If you don't put it on off, sometimes depending on how they've commissioned, which is the term, they've commissioned the controller, you might not be able to use the jog buttons here if you haven't switched that off.
Got you, because it's got to.
Correct. Yeah. So by switching that one off, it automatically says, you want to go MPG. So then each one of these is yeah, something else. Yeah, because then it's the
Does it come with two lights, or is it just the one?
There's one up there. Is there one? Is there another one here? No. You know what? Once you're used to it, once you've got lights in your garage, I don't think you're going to be worried.
I know other people have asked before.
Right.
I think there may be an optional extra on one of the early machines that you could have a second light fitted on there. But actually, the end of that door probably wouldn't allow it if this is a shorter.
Well, you know what? If you want something installed in the machine, speak to us. Okay. There is a lot of variability. I mean, the reason why we've gone with Siemens's or we've gone with Fanucs is because people have been asking for them. So give us a shout. I know some people have bought machines with a different controller and they're regretting it. Yes, I understand. Yes. And that was after they had done a lot of research, but unfortunately, there's a bit of communication. So communication between suppliers of that. If you go with, let's say, if there's something that you want, maybe, like I said in the beginning, they've sent me the TTC 200. I'm scared of breaking it.
Yeah. No, I think we said that was like 100.
I'm definitely for the 100 for yourself.
Then I use a payment.
Yeah, the Heimer is, it's up to you. Right. So, from the world of Bristol, I've been trying to knock off all this time, but you guys have just been going. Let's see. Before I shoot off, let's have a live, let's go to the dashboard and see live stream analytics. Hey, 6 concurrent viewers at the same time, not bad. Huh. 38 playbacks, thank you very much. Average watch time 24 minutes. Huh. I kept your interest for that long, brilliant. So, moral of the story, thank you very much for joining us. 3 hours into the live stream, I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we did, even the scary bits, but the Syil X7 has been seated. My company is MV Engineering, if you haven't guessed. I mean, there's branding everywhere. And we are the UK distributors for Syil CNC machine tools. If you wanted to buy one of these machines, get in touch. I'm sure we will be significantly more professional when we come to install it for yourselves. If you buy installation, then we'll probably get a third-party installer to come out and install it for you, unless you particularly want me to come along and have a beer with you, without getting into trouble, of course. And yeah. Final thoughts from the chat? It takes a few seconds for it to update, so. Well, anyway, at mvoeng.com on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And I think Rob will be getting something very soon when he starts making stuff. So we'll share that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, have a lovely evening or a lovely rest of the day. Goodbye.